In Westeros, the songs tell tales of kings and castles, but the true legends are carved by warriors. Steel, blood, and unbreakable will, these are the forces that shape history. Today, we are not speaking of lords or rulers. We speak of those whose swords changed the fate of nations. The deadliest fighters to ever walk the lands of ice and fire. This is the story of 8 warriors so fierce, their names became immortal. Not because of crowns, not because of thrones, because when the blades were drawn, they were the last men standing. The 8 greatest warriors in the history of Westeros revealed. Number 8. Sandor Clegane, the Hound. Born into a house known for brutality, Sandor carried violence in his blood. His older brother, Gregor, burned half his face in childhood, forging a hatred that would shape Sandor's life. Yet even through the scars, Sandor grew into a formidable fighter, one who abandoned the empty ideals of knighthood and embraced the raw truth of combat. Armed with raw strength and a near supernatural instinct for violence, Sandor fought with a viciousness that few could match. He slaughtered men at the Blackwater, cut down members of the Kingsguard, and survived battles where entire armies fell. He did not fight for glory or honor. He fought because he was born to. Bitter, broken, but almost unstoppable Sandor Clegane was the brutal truth beneath the polished lies of Westeros. Number 7. Gregor Clegane, the Mountain That Rides. A towering nightmare, Gregor was known less as a man and more as a force of devastation. Born with freakish strength and an insatiable bloodlust, Gregor carved a trail of terror across Westeros. He killed his own family members, burned villages, and committed unspeakable atrocities, all without remorse. In tournaments, Gregor crushed opponents like insects. In war, he was a one-man siege engine, obliterating walls, armor, and human bodies alike. His sheer size and inhuman strength made him nearly unbeatable in close combat. Even when poisoned and dying, he shattered the skull of Oberyn Martell with his bare hands. Gregor Clegane was not merely a killer. He was a towering monument to the darkest corners of human nature. Number 6. Oberyn Martell, the Red Viper of Dorne. Born the younger brother of Prince Doran Martell, Oberyn was a man of passion, intellect, and deadly talent. He traveled the free cities in his youth, mastering exotic fighting styles and earning a reputation as a deadly duelist. He was nicknamed the Red Viper for his use of poison weapons and his lightning-fast strikes. Oberyn fought with a spear, moving with such speed and precision that larger, slower warriors stood no chance. His knowledge of poisons made every scratch from his blade a potential death sentence. In the trial by combat against the Mountain, Oberyn's skill was undeniable. He danced around Gregor, wounding and nearly killing the monstrous knight. His downfall was not his ability, but his pride. Oberyn Martell proved that skill, speed, and cunning could rival even the strongest foes, and his legacy burned brightly even in death. Number 5. Robert Baratheon, in his prime. Before the wine and the crown dulled his edge, Robert Baratheon was a storm given flesh. Born the eldest son of House Baratheon, Robert was a giant of a man, charismatic, fearless, and devastatingly powerful. Armed with a massive warhammer, Robert led the rebellion against the Targaryen dynasty, smashing his enemies with raw force and unstoppable momentum. At the Battle of the Trident, he met Prince Rhaegar Targaryen in single combat and with one thunderous blow, ended a dynasty. Robert's strength was so immense that armor cracked and bones shattered beneath his hammer. His presence on the battlefield turned the tide of battles. Men followed Robert not because he demanded it, but because his very existence made them believe in victory. In his youth, Robert Baratheon was not a king. He was a conqueror, a warrior the gods themselves would fear. Number 4. Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer. Born the golden son of House Lannister, Jaime was everything a knight was meant to be: skilled, brave, beautiful, and deadly. Knighted at just 15, he became the youngest member of the Kingsguard in history. Trained by some of the finest masters at arms in Westeros, Jaime's swordsmanship was near flawless. He moved like liquid silver, his speed and reflexes unmatched, even by seasoned veterans. At the Siege of Pike, he stormed enemy lines with reckless courage, earning the respect of his fiercest rivals. Though history would curse him for slaying King Aerys, true warriors recognized Jaime for what he was, one of the deadliest swordsmen of his generation. While in his prime, it was not a contest of strength or honor. It was a display of lethal perfection. Number 3, Rhaegar Targaryen, the Last Dragon. A prince born of prophecy, Rhaegar was a melancholy figure, a warrior, a musician, a scholar, and a dreamer. He was not bred for war, but when duty called, he became a battlefield legend. At the tourney at Harrenhal, Rhaegar bested the greatest knights in Westeros, including Ser Arthur Dayne himself. He carried himself with quiet dignity, wielding a sword with the calm grace of a master. At the trident, Rhaegar wore black armor inlaid with rubies and faced Robert Baratheon in a duel that decided the fate of Westeros. Though Robert's hammer ended Rhaegar's life, it took the full fury of a god of war to bring him down. Rhaegar fought not for conquest, but for a vision of a better world. He was a dragon who dreamed too deeply and burned too brightly to last. Number 2, Ser Arthur Dayne, the Sword of the Morning. Hailing from the ancient House Dayne, Arthur wielded Dawn, a blade forged from a fallen star, and stood as the pinnacle of knighthood. Ser Arthur was not just a master swordsman, he was the master. Legends say he fought with 2 swords at once, moving so swiftly and skillfully that he seemed untouchable. At the Tower of Joy, even outnumbered 6-2, Arthur held his ground against the finest warriors of the North. It was only through betrayal, not honor, that he was finally brought down. Eddard Stark himself admitted that without Howland Reed's intervention, he would never have defeated the Sword of the Morning. Arthur Dayne was chivalry, speed, and death incarnate. Had he lived, the future of Westeros might have looked very different. He was a knight not of songs, but of reality far greater than any bard could capture. And number 1, Ser Barristan Selmy, Barristan the Bold. Born to a minor house, Barristan's rise was based on nothing but unmatched skill, pure courage, and unwavering honor. Knighted at 16 by King Aegon V, Barristan built a legacy, one duel at a time. He defeated Maelys Blackfyre in single combat during the War of the Ninepenny Kings, ending a dynasty of rebellion with his own sword. He saved King Aerys from captivity at Duskendale, storming a castle alone against impossible odds. In tournaments, he unhorsed Lannisters, Tyrells, and Targaryens alike. Even as an old man in Essos, Barristan displayed a level of mastery that shamed warriors half his age. But it was never just about skill. Barristan fought with a code, an unshakable belief in what a knight should be. He was a legend not because of victory alone, but because he remained true to an ideal when the world crumbled around him. Ser Barristan Selmy was the greatest living sword of his time and perhaps the greatest Westeros ever knew. 8 warriors, 8 legends. Each fought for different reasons: glory, duty, revenge, honor, dreams. But when the steel sang and the blood flowed, they all answered the same call: to carve their names into the bones of history. In the end, kingdoms fall, crowns break, but true greatness endures, written not in ink or gold, but in the blade and in the blood.